Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley. Today's guests. First off, Kathrine Heller. Hello, Kathrine.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Betsy Helmuth. Hello, Betsy.
Hello.
Not to start to get so political right away, but if you haven't heard this episode of Betsy on Keith and the Girl, specifically number 3555, it's called No Heart, in parentheses, Your Body is Mine. If you're so simple, well, I guess you don't start with that, right? If you're so deplorable, if you don't understand why Roe versus Wade being taken away is so detrimental, make sure you hear this show. Just in case you think it just means we're not putting newborns in a firing squad. There's other shit to it you might not be thinking about, and Betsy breaks it down and breaks down. And I love that show so much. So again, thank you for sharing your story, Betsy, and congrats on another newborn.
Yes, yes, one I did not kill.
How many? How
Too
many?
soon, too soon.
Well, they don't
No,
go to school yet, right?
You've got to listen to that episode to understand that is a very dark joke, very dark joke. But my little newborn is so amazing.
A boy,
She's so
girl,
amazing.
other?
Girl. She
Okay.
identifies currently as a girl, so we're honoring those pronouns.
She's almost one, so she's doing so far.
Yep. When we lay out the blue, pink, and the neutral, she crawls right over to the pink.
No. How many children now total?
I got 3.
Jesus
I've
Christ.
got 3.
It's like a zoo over there.
It is. I've got 13, 11, and 11 months.
So I brought up, I was alluding to the most recent, but obviously this could you can hear this any day. School shooting. Do you get numb to it, or will you never be numb because you're a parent? I'm numb to it.
Do you know what is so interesting? I was listening to another podcast, because of course Keith and the Girl is on my everyday roster, but then I have others.
You're free.
And thank you. And they were basically saying never have your kids do lockdown drills, because typically the school shooter is a student or a former student. So they know everything, or they're already in the room. Right. So it actually terrifies students and gives them a lot of anxiety, and then teaches them what everyone's going to be doing so that they can find ways around it. So I actually call the school district every 3 months. I have it on my calendar to tell them that they need to let me know when the lockdown drills are happening so I can remove my children.
Okay. Could you think they could take, like, who are the top 10 students most likely to shoot, then like take them on a field trip and then do the drill?
I'll take them all out with my students, and we'll just, we'll go get ice cream or something.
Do you think, hey, we have a couple bucks over here, let's make sure we do private schools? Maybe I just work with fellow parents and we teach our fucking kids or something. What goes through your head?
Well, homeschool is not an option. I actually loved homeschooling during the pandemic. It brought me so much joy. It was so rewarding. I picked my own curriculum. It was a magical, truly sort of the best time I can remember in parenting. But I knew that I could see that it was damaging for my children to not be around other children.
Right.
And so for me, homeschooling is not an option, just because I cannot provide that much socialization on my own. It's hard enough to work the curriculum. So my daughter went to private school. We got this amazing opportunity. We had this private school contact, and they needed an extra girl in the class. And so we got deal of a lifetime during COVID for her to go to private school. And it did feel so safe, not just from the pandemic, but from these threats, not just because of the smaller class sizes, but because of the emphasis on mental health and the support that the kids got. But it's a heavy financial lift.
Yes.
In reality. And so that's just not sustainable.
There's the dad who gave the kid his gun, the kid being 14 years old, the shooter. He's being charged for manslaughter. Do we like this? I think I like this.
So what had happened was, apparently, according to the news, he lived with the kid, and he found out that his kid had made threats a year before and got approached by the police. Is that correct? And then he decided to buy his 14-year-old the gun.
And he's saying that this is true. He's saying that he got him the gun to get the kid away from video games.
Yeah.
Like, they're so violent, these video games,
Yeah. And the thing is, I this is a child, right? We
14,
don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, I don't. They're being charged as an adult, which I think is a little confusing because they're almost 13-year-old nephew and an older nephew as well, and kids, and they're very young, and it doesn't make sense to them, and it's the parents' fault. I'm sorry, I'll say it.
Sure.
A lot of it is parents' fault. Also, like, if you have access to a weapon like that and take it to school, that's not the kid's fault. I'm so sorry, but
But
it's
is it
not.
America's fault because of violent movies? And I know other countries, they don't have video games and movies or music, but America, we do. And that's the price of freedom. And so, what am I going to tell you? Colin Gray, the dad, admitted to sheriff's officers a year before his 14-year-old son allegedly launched a year before this mass, allegedly, I think we know he did it,
Yeah.
that he gave the boy a rifle to kill deer to get him away from video games. Authorities visited the home in May of 2023. This is what Katharine's talking about. To investigate whether the teen, Colt Gray, Colt. I never really thought of that.
Yeah, he was named after a gun. Yes.
This is my sister, Magnum. They had made threatening references on Discord, an online messaging platform popular with gamers, to committing a school shooting. The dad admitted to the officers that Colt had access to weapons in the house, but insisted they weren't loaded. Okay. We actually do a lot of shooting, the dad said. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. He was very proud. As for the online threats, quote, I don't know anything about him saying shit like that, and I'm going to be mad as hell if he did. Well, the cops are saying, here's the text. You did. Here's the messages you left on Discord. You did. Well, if I find out, though, it's going to irk me. And then all the guns will go away if that happens. Well,
Oof.
I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors. Here's how you teach safety. You don't give him guns. You don't have to, for when he comes across a gun on the street, he has to know safety. And I want him to love the outdoors and respect it and shoot it.
Well, if you need to shoot a deer, you got to just get like something that's easy to shoot a deer with, but not not like a nuclear weapon, right?
Right.
Where do we cross the line?
Yeah.
AR-15 or whatever they're called.
Yes, that's fine.
Keith, you were in the military, and there's military guns.
Yes.
And there's military weapons. Like, do we give our kids grenades to kill deers? Right? Like, or do they have?
At least they're outside. At least they're outside.
Right. Or do we give our kid? And I know people who own guns and shoot deer because of deer shooting things. It's fine, but at least it's like one thing. But once, or personal safety, right?
You don't need a Gatling gun, you're saying?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying.
It
infuriates me.
Gary told the officers that he and his son had discussed the topic of school shootings, quote, quite a bit. What weird lie is this? Let's talk about school shootings again. What? Hopefully don't be in them. What are you discussing? Never do one. What's the discussion? The dad's.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please.
I was gonna pop in here because I don't have I have my nephew in school who does these trainings now. Right. We used to do tornado and fire drills when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. It's like, get under the desk and maybe a nuclear bomb's gonna happen. Who knows? Russia, who knows? But I know, Betsy,
I forgot how old you are, Kat.
I'm your age, dude.
Yeah, I don't remember napalm bomb. We had to hide under our desks.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
New York City childhood, I think, is very different. Yeah.
But Betsy, your kids have to go through school shooting training. And I wonder if that affects their mindset of.
Well, like I said, I take them out. So I take them out of school. They don't know why they're going out of school, right? They know that the rest of their friends participated in some kind of drill, but I literally find out the days when it's happening and I take them out because the study that was done is done by, oh my gosh, I'm not remembering exactly who, but it was like the expert, and they've examined all the school shootings and what it would take to eradicate them. And basically it's coming from inside the house. The call is coming from inside the school, and it's these, automatic weapons. And these two things are the problem, and lockdown drills do not solve either of those problems. So I remove my children the multiple times a year that these drills happen. And so they don't know. Luckily, they're very well-behaved rule followers. So whatever's happening in the classroom, if something were to happen, they will follow along. But like I said, the lockdown drills send the wrong message.
I think the thing that also upset me is the parent of one of the kids, the mom, not the bad one, the good parent, called the kid during the school shooting. You do not want the phone to go off, right?
Right.
It's just like, it's everything about it is so disturbing. And it's like, everyone needs to be trained in this. And it's so upsetting that needs to happen. You don't call your kid. What if their phone is on? And
Well,
then
it makes it complex because in my school district now, and in many school districts, if you read the news, it's all the rage is like removing cell phones from the classroom completely.
Yeah.
And parents are up in arms, no pun intended.
Oh yeah. Okay,
because they want their kids to have cell phones in school because they want to be contacted should something like this happen, or they want to contact their child. And I'm like, that is not solving anything. In fact, it's perhaps making them a target.
1000%.
And the teachers are saying we can't teach with these phones in the school. We won't even go into teaching with guns in your school, but I'm a huge advocate for getting rid of the cell phones and of course getting rid of the guns and getting rid of lockdown drills.
Now you got schools that are trying to make sure all the teachers are armed. And I was just talking about this with Rod on last week on Keith and the Girl, but I have this old joke that old joke because this has been happening for so long. But I had a math teacher, for example, that would put the math problems on the chalkboard. Next thing you know, she always wore nice dresses. Her left side was all covered in chalk. My point is, I don't need her having a gun. And you know, and I compare it to if you made all the teachers, no matter what they taught, buy a musical instrument, and then all of a sudden the school district said, surprise concert tonight, it's probably gonna suck.
Also, they don't have the AR-15s. Like, they're gonna have like a gun, and it's just like, what's it gonna do?
Think of the school budget. What are they getting? Like a bow and arrow? These school budgets, they can't even afford crayons.
Are they gonna get a musket? You know?
Yes.
Right. And you see these teachers that can't control themselves that punch kids and put them in chokeholds because they got bored in social studies. What kind of weirdo doesn't? But anyway, yes, if they can't control their fists, I think they're going to be a little out of control. You know, they'll be teasing at least, like, don't make me open up drawer number 2.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I'm making this up, but I don't see how they would. Some of these assholes wouldn't, of course.
The dad also, they get paid like $20,000 a year, and it's like, really?
Right.
Really?
The dad says he's regularly at the school because his son was getting picked on. In a follow-up phone conversation with an officer a few weeks later, Grace said his son was called gay by bullies, including some who physically harassed him. I was trying to get him on the golf team. Like, oh, look, Colt's gay, they'd say. He's dating that guy. Just ridiculed him day after day after day. Ray told authorities in a newly revealed transcript. So this is like, I assume this is a year ago. I don't want him to fight anybody, but they just keep like pinching him and touching him. And that's the whole different deal. Gray, the dad, is facing murder and manslaughter charges to his own over his son's arrest. Or over his son's access to the rifle. Yeah, it's
So you get an AKR, whatever it is, 15, because he's getting teased?
Right. So supposedly not, but don't put these two things together.
I think bullying is worse than ever. So I really do, even with all of these programs and all of this awareness, I'm seeing in my kids' schools, the bullying is really crazy and highly problematic. So I don't blame him for being upset about the bullying, but I think it's easy to point the finger at other reasons why this happened versus really taking a hard look at what were the logistics here.
Did you ever have to, how old are your kids?
13, 11, and 11 months.
Did you ever have to deal with bullying? Do you have a conversation with the kid? Do you go into the school and pull a hand that rocks the cradle?
Well, according to the parenting podcast, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay. By the way, Catherine's making a face like she doesn't understand.
No, I understand.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't get the hand that rocks the cradle reference, but I understand everything else.
Yeah. So in the hand that rocks the cradle, Rebecca De Mornay is a caregiver and finds out that one of the no, she ends up being a murderer. Spoiler. But anyway, she goes to the school after finding out that one of these girls are getting bullied and tells the boy, like, I will, if you do it again, I will rip your fucking head off. Do you ever think like, okay, I'll do it this way?
I don't know if I should get into this, but something happened. There was an incident.
Okay.
Oh my God, I feel sick saying it. Okay. Well, this is the forum. If you don't feel sick when you're on Keith and the Girl, you're not doing
Did
it
I
right.
do my job?
You're not if your stomach doesn't flip and you're like, should I say that? And you're biting your tongue and blood is running down your mouth.
Betsy, this is why I love you so much. Okay.
I had a bad incident with my daughter, who is an amazing person, but we moved to this school and we were new to the district, and she was first year middle school. Lots going on, right? And it was really difficult. And in our past school, I just didn't notice as much bullying, but maybe it's middle school. You just never know. One of her besties, her best friend, it was the night of the end of year dance. I was actually going to chaperone this dance, and we were getting ready to go. And my daughter's getting all dressed up, and she's been texting back and forth with her bestie like furiously. And then all of a sudden she comes to me and she's like, I'm feeling upset about going to this dance, and I'm dressed up, she's dressed up. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, my bestie is calling me gay. So this is something that exactly happened.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about it, because really you're not supposed to intervene. According to the parenting podcast, unless it is bad, you are not supposed to intervene. I looked at the texts to just see what was going on. It was 26 pages of text where this girl was like assaulting my daughter verbally. With gay was the nice end of the spectrum. And there were so many other words, so many other issues. I couldn't believe it. And we were about to get in the car, and I'm about to serve at the dessert table to all the other sixth graders. And I was like, what the fuck has been happening to my daughter? And my daughter would write these replies. I was really impressed, but she'd be like, you're not being very nice to me. I thought we were friends. My daughter's just not rising to the level of, you're a horrible C word.
Right.
You are gay.
Does it feel like, by the way, did it feel like the friend was with, or the person was with other people also? You know what I mean? Or
it was
it
a
really just
one-to-one
one-on-one?
exchange.
Okay.
And this girl had been to our house. I'd fed her snacks. Like, what's the problem even? And so I was at the party, and this has
Betsy,
all just gone down.
Tell me you threw down. Tell me you threw down.
I did. And do you know what happened? It went really bad. It went so bad, like police bad. Do I always cry on Keith and the Girl?
Well, it shows you're remorseful in a way. So that's
but
good,
also, what I did is the girl came up to the table, and she was with a whole bunch of friends, and I'm not going to say anything, right? And my daughter is like, fine, bounce back, no problem. So it's at the, and I say to myself, Betsy, I'm 9 months pregnant, working the dessert table. And I say, Betsy, if she comes back alone, just say something, because she's been in my house. She knows me. We're friends, whatever. So at the very end of the party, she comes back alone to get a cookie. And I say, I wish you'd be nice to my daughter, because you guys are friends and you need to say nice things and be nice to each other. That's what I said. And I said it just like that, because I don't want to embarrass anybody. And,
then she said, you're gay too.
She walked away from the table. And I was like, oh, good. Everything's good. Everything's fine. She and my daughter had been kind of like hanging out, but I could tell my daughter was very upset still. I don't know. So then 2 days later, I get a call from her mom. Her mom has reported me to the school superintendent. Her mom has reported me to the police.
What?
Yes. And I was working the table with another adult who saw and heard the entire exchange. I was, it was really bad.
Betsy, this is when you need to call me, and I'll take the blame and throw down. I'm from the Bronx. I will fuck that shit up, because you're from
somebody from the Bronx.
You are from Missouri, and I get it. You're being super polite, but that is messed up. I'm so sorry that happened. Holy crap.
Well, and I had all the receipts. Like, I had 26 pages of texts, and my daughter has been unimpeachable.
Yeah.
And I have been unimpeachable. And the lady behind the table heard that, but I should have never said anything. I should have stayed out of it. But
I think you should have said something. Well,
ultimately, what happened, long story short, is that girl is now, because of the things she said and the way she said them, there was like an official police report filed, because the woman called the police on me, if you can imagine.
Right.
I didn't want a police report filed against this sixth grader. And so she's got it on her record. And now she's never allowed to be within a certain radius of my daughter due to the things that were said in this text. But I see where a parent's heart bleeds for a child who's bullied. And I didn't even know this was going on. Like, how many children don't tell? I have a very open relationship with my daughter. We talk about everything. And the fact that she suffered through 26 pages over how many weeks of this woman or girl, excuse me, berating her. And the fact that her mom would do this just shows that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yep.
And how many bad apples are in a school? And my daughter just internalized all that shit. And then
it says a lot about you that it says a lot about you taught your daughter to internalize it and just sort of move on until it got to the point. But no, what I mean is it's in a good way. Like, she probably was just like, okay, it'll be over soon. It'll be over soon.
Well, I really question my daughter's self-esteem. Like, who takes that for 26 pages and just says, I thought we were friends, and still wants to have her over on the weekend? Like, my daughter didn't understand that we couldn't still have her over that weekend after the party.
Gotcha. Do you run into the mom, like PTA, whatever?
It's not good. Luckily they're not in the same sports. They're not in the same, I don't know how that happened. Thank God. But it's not good. We keep one eye open at the grocery store. And the woman knows where I live because she's dropped this kid off many times for play.
Betsy, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry this has turned into a therapy session, but this is Keith and the Girl. It is what it is. And we've had serious conversations. May I say
this is where I come to have my serious conversation, but I have never shared that publicly.
But I mean, but it is worth it, because otherwise your kid wouldn't know about fauna, like the shit they must be learning that is so goddamn important.
If that girl had been out there with guns, she wouldn't be bullying my daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Keith, you were bullied though too, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't tell my parents.
You didn't tell your parents.
No, it's guy stuff. So it's because what's going to happen? You're going to go into school, make it worse. What's going to happen? And then one day I went, not now. And it means it's boy bullying. So it's punching in the arms, but very, very hard. And not, and you don't do it back because the guy's tougher. Is that kind of shit. Until then, I remember getting on the bus. I was always the last pickup. And so, if to get a seat, you have to sit next to one of these bullies, and who wouldn't let anybody else sit next to him. Otherwise, all the seats are just taken up. And then I just looked at him and went, move. Like, this isn't going to happen again. He moved, and I think that attitude just carried over, and there wasn't more bullying. But how would it wouldn't, you don't want your family to know you're a pussy. And again, what could they do anyways? It would only be worse, because you can't be there every day. You can't threaten to rip somebody's head off every day. And now with phones, cyberbullying isn't a fucking joke, and people are goofy dumb. They're like, well, just turn off your computer. Like, no, they're still talking about you, and that's gonna on their phones and computers, and that's gonna affect how they treat you in school, because now they're a clique.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally regret. I regret, and I should not have done it that way.
I don't think so. I know you, and very full disclosure, Betsy and I went to college together. Betsy is an amazing person. We've worked together. We're friends. Oh, heart emoji for those listening. And truly, you are just you're open and kind, and we talk about things like this is, I can't imagine how somebody would treat you like that, because that is not fair.
I truly thought it would resolve it. Yeah. And you're exactly right, Keith. It made it worse in so many ways for my daughter.
It's funny the bully didn't mind telling the parent.
Right? Yeah, like seriously, 26 pages. I sent the woman like 4 screenshots after she came at me, and I was like, this is just a sample of what your daughter's been saying. As long as there's an apology, I'm ready to move on. Even though it was very damaging, obviously. And she called the superintendent and the police.
I cannot believe she called the freaking police on you. I'm so mad.
Should you take your daughter hunting this weekend?
Ah, okay.
That seems like the next logical step, frankly. Right. Yeah.
No, I don't think, to be clear, I don't think you were I don't know how, if I'm at some kind of dance and I see the bully, how he wouldn't say anything, and you didn't say anything. So
it was
tough.
moments before we got in the car. I did a bad thing.
I don't think so. By the way, when I was in junior high school, I was accused of being quote unquote gay and like, oh, we see you like women. And I was on a bridge and I was on the way home. And then I finally told my mom, I was like, they think I'm gay. Like that's a thing. And that was in the 80s. Right. And I was a teenager. And then I'm like, but what if I am? And she's like, I support you no matter what. And it was just like one of those things that people just say to you, like, oh, you're this, you're that, you know, whatever. And it's just mean things that they learn from their parents, right?
Well, and why is it still going on? Isn't
Yeah.
like gay widely accepted now? Like, why is
No.
this a problem? But it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you had to talk to a teacher about anything like, hey, this is happening in this classroom, that kind of thing?
Well, that would have been a better thing to do, Keith. Salt in a wound. Yeah, I should have talked to a teacher rather than talking to the.
I don't know.
Well, once it happened,
I mean, teachers, you would talk to a teacher, and then the teacher would say, you know, that you said something. I mean, what's the difference? It's almost like calling a cop if there's a noise. If I have a noise complaint in my apartment building, I'm like, no, thanks. I think that's going to get back to me.
Right. Just go to the neighbor.
Right.
But going to the neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I had to go to all the teachers after that and protect my daughter, because then that girl had a lot of friends and they united against my daughter after that. And it was really bad. It did not get better. It got worse first. So, yeah, because you have to do whatever you can to protect your child. And when it's that bad, you know, but I do think there's, you got to be thinking critically about what the aftermath could be.
Mm-hmm.
And
what if, now we don't have a time machine, but if something like this happens again, God forbid, and you're at a dance and instead of saying, hey, be nicer, just talk loudly to another mom about all the school shootings that are happening because kids are getting bullied.
All right.
Or I'll say, did you hear XYZ kid is gay? Like the girl who's teaching.
Yeah,
it's a lose-lose, dude. It's a lose-lose.
Being a parent is hard. I am not one currently, but I will say this: I respect you, Betsy and Keith, as being a step parent, as I am as well. We all have gone through some things where kids are wild.
Yeah,
and you have this urge to protect. You have this urge to protect and not to side on this crazy guy's side, but you have the urge to arm your children, not literally, with strategies to protect themselves. Like now when somebody texts you this, she has tools, but those tools need to be nonviolent, in my opinion, of course.
On last week on Keith and the Girl, we have this segment, Minimum Rage. And, you know, we try to tell people, hey, if don't have an attitude to the employee, and employees understand that the customer can kill you too in these fast food restaurants. Everything's scary out there. You know, I mean, I just saw there's this meme going around where it's this guy dressed up in an ET costume going through a drive-through, acting like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Putting that voice on, an ET costume.
I kind of love that. I love that.
To me, but now that there's all these every day there's a new Minimum Rage story. I'm like, I wouldn't find it cute you wearing a mask and acting like you're fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's a new day.
He had me at ET. It just melted my 80s heart. Yeah.
I mean, it is cute. It is cute, but
it's cute. Oh, I want to give him extra barbecue sauce. I want to give him extra barbecue sauce for free, no charge.
But legally, you can't because the boss is there. Next thing you know, you got to say, actually, it's 35 cents, Stone Cold ET, and ETs might have a gun and be like, I remember when sauce was free.
Wow.
Wow.
So my point is, have you taught your kids if you get cold fries, you at least got fries?
Yeah. Right.
I think that's the next lesson we're going to work on.
That's important.
Yeah, after that story.
Between school and fast food places. When were you guys in the same classes in college?
Okay, so I was, I think, a year above you, correct?
I think you were 3 years.
No, I don't think so.
What's your graduating year? Because
98.
Yeah, and I'm 2001.
She remembers Russian communism. Okay. She
I remember
remembers
we were in
the
a we were in a
USSR.
class together. We were in a class together, and there was 4 people in it because it's a small college, right?
Which one?
I forget, but we had a group. Okay, we had a group project,
Yes.
and the 2 cis men did not show up to class, and you sat me down. You were like, "All right, we're doing this, and we're doing this right now together." And I was like, "Okay." And that was the first time I did one of those group classes where 2 people do it and the other people don't show up, and we all got an A.
Right.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
no.
Because I freaking do remember
I
that.
have a horrible memory.
It was an international class, something. Okay, go on. Yeah, I remember.
No, I have a horrible memory. I'm
Uh-oh.
thinking I might need some medication or something. I hope there's medication because I feel like eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
I don't know.
She just forgets shit. She doesn't know what happened.
Yes,
That's
but
the
my
thing.
kids will be like, that movie that we watched the other day was so great. I'm like, what movie?
Okay,
I really don't remember.
Remember the class?
No.
It was in the building next to the dramatic arts and dance department, and we had to like go to the 4th floor. And you were like, "Okay, here's the thing, we're gonna do this together." And then you called me on my voicemail because we didn't have cell phones at the time, and we just made the project, and the men took all the credit, and we got an A+.
Now, here's what I do to mitigate the situation because I bet I do remember. I have kept a diary since I was 7. And I keep copious notes. So I bet it's in there, but it's not in here. Points to brain. Yeah, it's I'd have to go back to journal 1642.
Maybe the problem is the journals. You got it out of your head. Now it's out of your head. It's on the hard drive now.
I have thought about that I free myself from the thought.
Well, the point is
traumatic. That's
when we first met. When we first met, that's how I met you, and I remember that so clearly. I was like, she is organized, and now we work together.
Yes,
right?
We worked
and
for 9 years.
Yes, and your podcast is freaking amazing, and I'm here to like celebrate that, but also just to say that you helped me with my work. So I remember when we got back together, not that we dated or anything, but I just reconnected because I ran into you on the train. Ayo. You really helped me be organized, and you were like, "Here's what we're doing. We have 2 days to do this. Let's go." And I was like, "Cool." And I was like, "I remember that."
I was a freshman bitch. I'm like,
"That's right. You were not a bitch, not a bitch."
Okay,
you were amazing.
Large and in charge freshman. But I remember Katharine. I do have some memories because she was in this improv group.
I started the improv group.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. But you were so cool. You were so funny. And I will tell you, Keith, this college was in St. Paul, Minnesota, the capital of nice. And it heavily recruited in New York City. I don't know why, but like there were constantly tables in New York City. They were trying to get a lot of New York City kids.
True.
And I was from Missouri, which is essentially like watered down Minnesota. Not as nice, not as interesting. No shade to Missouri, but so anyway, I would stand across campus, watch people walking, and you could see who was a New Yorker from a mile away.
Yes, there was another guy from the Bronx too who we'd walk together, and we were like, "What's up, bitches?"
They were fast. They were like no nonsense. They were laser focused. It's like I think of them as M&Ms, like very hard candy shell. And once you break the shell, they are so mushy and they will melt in your hand.
Betsy.
Yeah. So Katharine had a hard candy shell walking around campus. She was the shit. But inside, she's so soft.
What makes you go to Minnesota from New York?
Me?
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, y'all.
What?
What does that mean?
That's the TV show, Mystery Science Theater.
But
the amazing show, the comedy show, because I was obsessed with that. And I didn't want to stay on the East Coast. And I ended up getting into McAllister because a friend of mine went there and I wanted to get out of town. And also,
I'm sorry, is this show recorded in Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay.
Hopkins, Minnesota.
Okay.
I was obsessed with it.
I like that was going to be the obvious answer. Mystery Science Theater.
Okay, anyone out there listening right now going, do you not, Keith, know what Mystery Science Theater 3000 is?
Yeah, but it'd be like, hey, Keith, how'd you end up in Springfield? Simpsons?
Okay. Well, actually, so long story short, keep it personal, because here we go. I have a lot of depression. I still do. Like we deal with our own thoughts and things. So at 3 a.m, I would wake up because I wake up very early. And Mystery Science Theater 3000 from Minnesota was on TV. And it was a comedy show. And it made me laugh for the first time in a long time. And I would watch it every night, every single night. And then I go to high school, and then I was like, I want to show up there. And my friends became fans of it. And I was like, I want to go to Minnesota. So I looked up schools. I found McAllister, and they have the second biggest theater district next to New York. And I was like, I want to go there. And then I ended up going to their shows and meeting all of the cast of Mystery Science
Whoa.
Theater. And not only that, but our priest, Dr. Rock O'Connor, remember him?
Of course not.
He organized, Father Rock O'Connor, he organized the cast of MS33K to show up to the school, and we got to perform with them, and I got to meet them. So truly, for my depression, I needed like a hot second to get out of it. And it was like comedy, this place. And I went there and checked it out, and I was like, this is my home. I wanted a small school. I wanted something small. Y'all, this is a very wild story.
Does
That's why.
Betsy, does your husband, you ever think like, wait a minute, I shouldn't have admitted that I don't remember shit? Because you're trying to trick me right now.
He uses it against me constantly, as do my children. Yes. So it is a constant, like, but you said I could do this. And I'm like, I don't know if I did say that. I like to think that it's because I'm so busy. I'm pulled in so many directions, but I really think it could be an issue.
Do you remember this? Do you see your kids growing up faster because of the other kids? Not to compare the two, but I had a dog, and then I got a second puppy, and then a second puppy, and the second
I know.
puppy
I watched two of them. Remember that?
See? And the second puppy picked up so much faster because of the first one. Are your kids picking up things faster than
my second
older
kid
ones?
My second kid was essentially the twin of her older brother, who's 20 months older, but she was doing everything he did at the same time. So that definitely was the case. This one is enjoying being a little baby. Okay. So she likes getting all the attention. Everybody's always picking her up and kissing her. So she's not necessarily inspired to be more grown up, I feel.
You ever see the 1-year-old like rolling on the floor like an idiot and be like, oh, you might be a breakdancer though?
If it's anything like that Australian, I was gonna say.
So Rachael Gunn, Raygun, an Australian.
I'm sorry, that was pretty funny.
That was his real segue.
Yes. Oh yeah, this is real. I'm a professional. Raygun. Yeah, I never really cared about your kids. So Raygun. I'm not gonna care what a 1-year-old does. So Raygun has apologized for her breakdancing performance, but says she still hasn't seen the whole thing, but thinks people are being unnecessarily cruel. It's like, well, you'll get it once you watch it, because it's a fucking joke. Raygun, 37-year-old university lecturer, I'm not sure what that means, did not register a single point in the Olympics. You can Google this if you haven't seen it by now, but I'm sure you have.
We've seen.
We've seen.
She lost 18-0 in all 3 rounds. And at first I'm like, I don't know how you would grade breakdancing. And then I saw hers and I'm like, I guess I do. 0. Whatever the fuck I'm watching is 0. Let's see. Her performance included, of course, a kangaroo hop. She puts her hands in the air like she's a kangaroo and just literally hops, and that's a breakdancing move. Okay. She said she was inspired by Australia's Olympic mascot, the boxing kangaroo. Her performance consisted of moves including the hop, a backward roll, and various contort. You don't even know how to turn this into words. And various contortions with her body while lying or crawling on the floor. She says her breakdancing style is, quote, just a different approach to the sport. Different approach, not doing it. But apologizes for making breakdancing look less than it is. In fact, in LA in 4 years, they're not gonna bring this back. It's over. It's so dumb.
But I mean, I think she's the most watched breakdancer of the Olympics due to these memes and everything. So why is she apologizing?
Yeah, if anything, I agree with you. If anything, she brought it back, and now people are looking up other breakdancing moves, which are better than hers.
But what kind of apology? What kind of apology though? Where it's like, but I did a different approach. Then you're not apologizing.
But it's just like on American Idol where they used to highlight the worst ones, right? Like William Hung or whatever, right? Wasn't that his name?
Yeah, but he didn't make it to the finals, you know?
but we appreciated everyone else more. He was the foil that let us see everyone else's talent more clearly.
I see. Wow, you'd be a good parent for him. No, honey, you make other people. I remember asking my parents, I'm like, why would God make bad things happen to good people? Why are you making a baby with no arms? And it's like, so that we appreciate what we have. And it's like, where does that end? What is the no arms guy appreciate? Right.
Raygun is the lowest.
Is the lowest. Then kids with no arms. Then Gunn said she hasn't seen a Jimmy Fallon sketch that made fun of her, but mentioned that she doesn't know, quote, whether to hug Fallon or yell at him because what a platform he ended up giving me. Well, this is silly. You're not happy about it.
Okay, as someone who's breakdancing classes, because I saw a movie Breakdance, Breakin'.
Yes.
Before Electric Boogaloo in the Bronx, I took a breakdance class from a guy named Finesse because my parents were going through a divorce, and there was a guy who was like, I don't know, I guess I'll teach you breakdancing, and I did. So part of me is like, yeah, cool, you do you. Have fun.
When you watch Raygun, were you like, I can do that?
Oh, I could do all the moves. I still know those. Yes.
It kind of feels.
I also love that the guy called Finesse. He's like, I'm just wearing a jumpsuit. I work in the Bronx. My mom gave him money, and we just went to a studio. Was it a studio? Who's to say? He didn't molest us or anything weird like that. He just taught us how to dance.
When you saw Raygun, did you think I really should have took this up? I could be in the Olympics.
No, not at all. I thought she was terrible at it.
No, I mean do you think like I could have been in the Olympics?
Not at all. Not at all. Okay. I was like, good for you, Raygun. I'm tired.
It kind of feels
my period.
There was a je ne sais quoi. There was
a je ne sais quoi. Thank you so much for saying that.
The thing that's so, I mean, I've watched it, I don't know, 60 times.
Same.
Yeah. And I love it every time. And I see new nuances and I'm drawn in. She has what they call in Japan, Han. You just can't stop watching.
What about the pommel horse guy though? Because I watched that like about 90 times.
Steven has the Riz, dude.
No.
Sigma Alpha.
Pete, do you know what we're talking about?
No, I turned off the TV.
Kidding me?
I turned off the TV after Breakdancer.
Okay, well, we'll talk later. But if anyone else hasn't seen it, the pommel horse guy, holy effing, you know what? Plus, he's blind.
Well, if you're blind, that's easier because you don't see how dangerous it is.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
You know,
well, not like, blind. He's cross-eyed. Sorry.
I see those. Well, that should be Special Olympics. I'll see these runners with springs on their legs, and they're like, "Oh, how brave!" I'm like, "No, your knees don't hurt." I wish. It kind of feels like a really weird dream," said Raygun, "and I've been having, and I'm going to wake up from it at any moment." She qualified for the Paris Olympics by winning the Oceania Championships. But I have read something where she is in charge of the group in Australia that moves people forward. And surprise, surprise, she thought she was the best.
Oh.
So apologize to those other people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those university teachers, they have a chip on their shoulder. I bet she has tenure, you know, and she's like, is there anything I can't do? No one can fire me. Let me just take it to the top.
I knew I was going to get beaten in the Olympics, and I knew that people were not going to understand my style and what I was going to do. So you're not apologizing. Not that you should, but you're not. The odds were against me, that's for sure. Okay. She said that she won't be participating in any breaking competitions for a while. No one will let you. You know what? I don't think I'm going to either, Raygun. How about that? I'd much rather focus.
Didn't they cancel it?
Yeah, they canceled it. Yeah.
There's other competitions. There's other breakdancing sessions.
She
to the Olympics.
Oh, no, she won't. Yeah.
I would much rather focus on the positives out of this. Okay. Funny you didn't name one. And the positive responses and the joy that I brought people. You did bring me joy. That is true. It's going out there and just having fun and going as hard as you can in the face of, losing. All right.
I think she ruined it for everyone. I do think she's the reason they pulled it from the Olympics.
Yeah, I do too.
Because she kind of made a mockery of it, in my opinion.
She does make it. That's true. I've seen little bits and pieces of my performance, but I'll watch it eventually. How about you watch it before you do an interview and understand why people are fake upset?
She has PTSD.
What's that?
PTSD from breakdancing.
Oh, yes.
Post-traumatic stress breakdancing, because she can't watch it again because so many people are making fun of her. I'm sure she's being bullied. Speaking of, good thing Raygun doesn't have a gun.
But Betsy, you're a comedic genius. Honestly, and to be fair, if you don't watch your shit at the Olympics, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. No, I don't know what I did. I haven't rewatched it.
I forgot to watch it. But it's kind of like when Joe Biden, and no offense, he's old, it's fine.
Sure.
Like it happened. But he's like, oh, I didn't watch the debate back. And I'm like, I would have watched it back. You're the fucking president.
Of course.
Awkward.
By the way, I see an Onion article that says it was Raygun's apology is offensive to the apologizing community. And then here's another Onion article. Horrified Taylor Swift realizes football happens every year. Oh, poor Taylor. I got my $100 down on the Steelers.
Do you really for this year
to win the Super Bowl?
Wow.
When I win, I'm gonna get $5,000 back.
What do you think about the Chiefs, though? I mean, they're kind of rocking it.
That's not how this works. Okay. Yeah. God put you in a town for a reason. That's the town you root for. Hell or high water. It's not impressive. Chiefs win for a third Super Bowl. Okay. They should. This is
boring.
What's boring. We get it. You're fucking good. Although I did now, because of Liz is from North Carolina. I start watching the Panthers. We're gonna go to a game later this month. I wish I didn't buy tickets already.
Bought tickets.
Why?
Because Panthers just played this weekend and it was 47-10 against them.
I saw that.
And I think now you actually get free tickets with a purchase of small fries.
Yeah.
Just don't ask for extra sauce.
Right. Oh, God, no. God, no.
Well, I'm happy for your relationship, but stick with the Steelers.
But
I love Liz. She's awesome.
I could go to when we go to our seats. I bet we can just move up as close as we want, because nobody's gonna be going to these games. I bet I can call a couple plays on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it should be fun. We'll see. But right now, Steelers in our division, number one.
Wow.
Number one. So it's working out already.
Great.
We won with 6 field goals. Okay.
We're sending your team good vibes.
Thank you.
I don't care. I just want to be happy for you.
Thank you. Kendrick Lamar will be doing the halftime show. We already know that already.
Correct.
So it's pretty clear when you go Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, who's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar was on the Obama's music playlist this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think.
What if they decide to reconcile at the Super Bowl? That would be the biggest Super Bowl ever. Don't you think? Them both on the same stage, shaking hands.
Oh yeah.
Rapping rhymes. Okay.
Those are words.
I'm a 40-something mom in Connecticut. And it's
yes. No. And this is why Betsy's my friend. Heck yes. Betsy.
This is why I'm going to break dance in the next Olympics.
Are you guys speaking of debates? Tuesday, tomorrow will be the debate between Kamala and Trump. Am I the only one hard for this? I'm horny.
I have a debate in my family, and I need you guys to solve it right now.
Okay.
And
because you come from a family that is more differently associated, right? Because my family is very liberal, correct?
In Missouri, they're definitely associated, but not my immediate family, because I wouldn't live with them. But
no, of course.
Even my 11-month-old knows what's up. But my family in Missouri, that's a totally different story. But no, I want my children, my older children, to watch the debate tomorrow. And my husband is like, maybe no. What do you guys think? Should kids watch the debate?
Yes.
Okay.
Because kids are more honest. And, and adults are like, no, what Trump meant was, no, he was making a joke when he obviously wasn't. No, he doesn't really believe that transgender kids are changed without the parents' permission and given a surgery nobody fucking asked for because the teacher was bored. They try to make a kid watching it be like, that's bullshit. That's dumb. Weirdo. That's
I agree with Keith. I agree with Keith. And also, I have a nephew who turned to my sister and said, is it bad that I kind of like Kamala better than Biden? And I don't know, kids are learning. And he's 13 now, right? And also, wasn't it your husband who wrote one of the Barack Obama speeches?
I don't think
The comedy, the comedy one, what's it called?
Oh, he might have. My memory. I'm serious,
Oh no,
guys.
he wrote one of the what's the press one,
Right.
the press one.
I think he might have done that.
You
Yes,
might
I
have
remember.
you might have met Obama.
I did meet Obama, and I remember that
Okay.
because there's a picture.
Betsy, are you okay?
Now let's
I
think
was a
how you
cater
met
waiter.
him.
I was
Okay.
a cater waiter at a fundraiser at a fancy Upper East Side place, and he came back and shook hands with every cater waiter and took a picture. And I have that picture. That is between pictures and my journal. That's all I got, guys. Everything else is just.
But also the press, what's it called? The annual press dinner thing. He wrote part of his speech,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yes,
He
it-
wrote for the
The
whatever
correspondence
that's
dinner
called.
you're talking
Yes,
about. Yes.
he did that. I forgot all about it. Uh-oh.
So but yes, have your kids watch it.
Okay.
You know, if they're doing something so crazy the kids shouldn't see it, then they should even know that.
Well, they're gonna have to stay up past their bedtime. And I think my husband doesn't want them to be more exposed to Trump, frankly.
They'll be bored anyway. They'll be bored anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And truly, when I was a kid, I really enjoyed watching the debates and things like that and learning about people and learning about politics. And that's where it brought me to today, where I'm, I feel like it's a good thing to teach your kids about.
Well, that's kind of weird.
Oh, that's fun.
I see the debate team on Kamala's side is preparing her for a range of insults from Trump. So what a fun job that would be. I'm pretending I'm Trump, and obviously I'm voting for Kamala, but I go, anyway, that's my points on this dumb bitch. And she's like, what the fuck? I'm like, no. He might do that. Stupid bitch. What do you say now? Like you got to play all the dumb stuff. I don't even think this cunt is black. No. I'm saying I'm preparing you. I'm preparing you. Like
You know
they
that's
have to
gonna
do
happen.
this. They have to.
Oh, it's
do
gonna
this stuff.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe the moderators are gonna be all like, everything's totally normal. Let's ask you about policy and not about Hannibal Lecter.
But wouldn't you love to do that to your boss? Wouldn't you want to just lob the worst things you could ever think at them and just see how they absorb it without any ramifications?
You did great. You did great, sweetheart. And then she's like, I think we're done though. We're actually walking to our cars. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry if that was too much. Sorry.
I think my biggest concern for tomorrow's debates is just they're gonna act like it's totally normal for him to be against her, whereas he is banana cuckoo pants. And she's actually really awesome. And well,
that's what you got to do. I think you got to you roll your eyes at him. I thought this when he debated against Hillary Clinton. I'm like, why are you acting like he's saying things? You're giving this credence like he's a human being. What he just said was so fucking stupid. Don't bring up another point as if that was real. That's what I think. But again, then what do you do? Like, can you just go, he said that. I yield my time. I yield my time to him. Let him talk more. What the fuck are we doing
that's a good
here?
idea. That's a good idea.
I think he should talk the most because he is banana cuckoo pants. And also, like, everything he says is just like, you don't need to be the one who's like, I'm going to fact check this because everyone's like, oh, no, fake news. But, like, let him talk. Just let him freaking talk.
Well, something's up when it's Trump's team is saying, we want the mics off.
1000%, yes.
When it's not his turn, and they don't even hide it. They say the reason being he says some crazy shit. Anyways, that's real. And
well, does anybody else follow that gal on Instagram? There's probably a few of them now who are deaf and they do the lip reading of what's going on. So I want that gal because he's still going to be mouthing off. We just won't be able to hear it. I'm going to be on her Instagram like white on rice, waiting for those videos to drop because he's going to say some crazy stuff.
Right.
Like he doesn't already. Womp womp.
Are you seeing? Here's this segue. Speaking of crazy shit, there's the so-called Chase Bank glitch, and sometimes you can like put in a fake check into your banking account. Maybe you could take a little bit of that money, but Chase had a problem where it let you take out all the money. So for like a couple days, you can put in a fake check. Type in at an ATM that you put in this much money. It's obviously associated with you and everything. They're going to know it's you. And then take out that money. And now, of course, it's a felony, and they fixed this problem about letting you have so much of your money so fast. And now they're going after these people, but they're getting caught because they're on social media showing what they're doing with, as if the ATM doesn't have cameras anyway. But I'm looking at one right here. Okay, I'm talking to a lawyer now because the bank is against me. Anyway, hashtag, and then they type hashtag Chase glitch, hashtag Chase bank. I'm like, okay, let's start with the hashtags when we look for these people. Now, and so this one woman, she goes, please guys, I don't need your negativity with this banking thing. Okay, that's not really helping. When you walk into a lawyer's office, what does he do? Does he take your phone, put it in the pitcher of water, and go, that's pro bono? Now get the fuck out of here. What are you videotaping everything?
Wait, Keith, isn't that why you went to jail?
No, I went to jail because, I just want to be
glitch.
I want to be clear that no, I would not think I'd get away with that. I went to jail because I had a loan coming, ended up being a fraudulent place.
Right.
And I thought money was coming in. And like a day or two before I was supposed to get the check, I started buying things with checks, and then the money never came. And I'm talking like jeans, video rental, pizza, like dumb little shit. But then I never had the money. I'm 18 and broke, and that's why I got in trouble.
But that to me sounds similar to what they're doing. Is they're just kind of fucking around and finding out.
They're not,
right?
But they're not fucking around. I thought I would have money. These people know they're not going to get money.
Oh,
don't these people have
They know
money?
it's a crime.
Yes. So you believe the money was coming through, and they know, but they have the money. Chase gave them the money. So Chase bought what they were selling.
Right.
Well, here we are with all these videos. I'm excited about it.
And I'm watching Raygun. You're watching Chase glitch.
And they go, the lawyer's like, well, I'm kind of expensive. And the woman's like, do you take checks? Because
I think you got fucked over. But anyway.
Thank you. Sean Diddy Combs is selling his Beverly Hills mansion for $61 million. Oh, 61. In case
Wasn't he accused of rape or something?
In case you want to dicker him down. Well, the house didn't do it. But it is weird to live in that place where I guarantee rape happened in that place, right? Beatings happen in that place. It's almost like, you don't want to move into a house that had a murder in it. This is again, it's the house didn't do it, but that'd be fucking weird. I wouldn't brag like, hey, you guys know this used to be Diddy's house? I've earned it. Seems strange.
Nope. Not gonna. I decided not to move there. I just rescinded my offer.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think they charge a premium? Like some of these crime houses get a premium.
Really?
Well, he paid. He paid
like the La Bianca in California for sure.
He paid $40 million 10 years ago, and again he's asking for a 61 now. But I bet you can get it for 60. I bet. You go. It has a lot of bad juju in it. I'll give you 60. How about that? You mentioned you brought up the podcast. Let's talk about them. All right. First of all, Katharine, what's going on over there? And tell me about your shows and your things.
Well, as you know, I'm in the New York New Futurists. I just finished a long, a 5-week run of the show. I've been in the show for 7 years. We're doing amazing. We're raising we're raising $100,000 and we're up to 90 something plus. And in the when you saw the show, Keith, I showed my tits, and this weekend I showed my ass. And
holy shit! I got
hey, yeah, and I got an applause line every time. I also just want to say that listen, it's the dumbest play I've ever written. We're doing great. Come see the show. We're awesome.
What's the angle of showing your ass? Like the other one was you were taking a shower. What's this one?
Okay.
This one was called pretend excuse.
This wasn't called ifs and or buts. Okay. So one person says if, and it's a political thing, and the other person adds and. It's political response, and then I just took off my pants.
Sure, I get that.
And then that was it. That's the play. But also, I just want to say Betsy is an amazing person, and Betsy's podcast is freaking baller. Affordable interior design. And Betsy, I'm grateful for you. You gave me this birthday card. I still have this from March. So everyone follow Betsy and follow me if you want to see my butt.
I do and did. The neo-futurists, I went to, I don't know if you heard Betsy when she was on, I think it was last time
Oh,
Catherine
I
was on.
heard. I heard.
Mhm.
That
You saw my
play,
titties.
that play tripped me the fuck out. So I happened to
I
be
know
on
you were
edibles.
also on edibles.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever. So they fuck with the sound and the lights and you know, some of these plays, the audience except me knows what's going on. They're chanting shit back, and I'm like, I thought I was on candid camera at one point. I'm like, they all know, they're all laughing at me. I just started at one point, whatever the fuck they had you do, they had the audience stand up, and I'm standing up, but I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like, what's that? What's that Roman numeral shit?
Yeah, it's the opening one where we were like, we have a countdown, but instead of NASA's weird way of doing countdowns from 10 to 1 before they like got bought by Elon Musk, we do it through Roman numerals with our arms. I, 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 I,
The
you
whole
know, and
audience is doing this. The whole audience is doing this. I'm tripping out.
Wow.
And I just start laughing as I'm standing up. So, you know, you're
We
like
got a lot
hunched
of
over.
regulars. They know
was,
it.
It's fucking crazy.
Is this
So
a show or a cult? I am very
Same.
confused right now.
Thank
Both.
you.
Both.
And this sounds like Mystery Science Theater. Like you brought it to New York.
1000%.
Yeah, you're living the dream.
That's all she
I
wanted to
am.
hear.
Yeah.
Is that she
Wow.
brought Minnesota back.
Can I say one quick thing?
You may.
I'm one of the few people who got Oasis tickets.
Oh.
Rub it in. Rub it in.
Oh.
Rubbing it in.
I see that Oasis, by the way, of course, a reunion.
Oh, they're
in
going to
the-
break up again. It's fine. Who cares?
in the UK, but they're having a fight with, or at least people are suing Ticketmaster because
Yes, they sure are.
surprise, Ticketmaster, you know, charges a surprise amount of money. I saw a ticket, for example, $175. Next thing you know, with Ticketmaster, it's like 400. How long were you at the computer, and how much did you pay, Kathrine Heller?
Okay, here's the thing. I have friends in the industry and they were warning
Okay.
me, okay, get a Ticketmaster account in the UK. Process your credit card and let them know you're going to be buying the tickets, and be prepared to wait in line starting at 3:50 in the morning online, right, at Ticketmaster UK. And the best chances of getting them are going through Edinburgh. I got almost front row seats at Edinburgh for a not inflated cost.
Okay.
And they're really, really good. I have two of them. I have a bunch of people who are my plus ones and plus whatever on my list. And I also have another friend whose brother was in Dublin. He got tickets. So it's going to be a huge trip next year. And I got tickets.
When you wrote on Instagram, hey, I got my tickets.
It was Facebook.
Did all your friends start rating you, and you're like, perfect?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well,
But
everyone
how are you
knew.
going to choose? Like, is there going to be an elimination?
I have my top people, and it's not till next year, so we got time. But I got the tickets.
Time for them to kiss your ass. Yeah, you got the time.
Kinda.
All right.
Wow.
It's gonna be a couple free meals.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Challenge accepted.
I love Oasis. I've loved them since college. I'm actually a huge fan. So
have you seen
one
them
of those
before?
Not ever, no. But I met
Okay.
Liam Gallagher. We actually hung out at Nobu together. It's a long story, but I'll tell you later.
You could. Okay, it's later.
Cool. So basically what happened was it was my sister's 30th birthday. This is 20 years ago. And we were at Nobu, which is a very fancy restaurant in New York City. I was 27. And I turned around at the end of the night and I saw this band sitting together because they were clearly a band. They were like, oh, we're British. And I'm like, we get it. Fuck off. But Nobu is a very fancy restaurant. So only rich people go there. And then I turned to my mother and I said, oh my God, there's a unibrow. It's a Gallagher. It turns out it was Liam Gallagher. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. She walked over to the table and said, my daughter thinks you're the Oasis. We were leaving the restaurant. And we were about to hang out with MJ and John Neffel, by the way. They were having a birthday party. And I started to cry. And my mother said, oh, Liam says he wants you to join the table. And we had drinks with them for about 20 minutes. And they were so nice and polite. And everyone thinks Liam's the asshole, but like he's really nice. So
that is epic.
I know that was over 20 years ago. But the point is, I've never seen them live. I freaking love them. And also, Betsy, just so you know, one of the reasons I fell in love with them is when I first went to McAllister, I was a little homesick, right? And I listened to the radio because back in the day we had radio. And that's when their first album came out in 1994. and their songs were played every night, and I would be chain smoking because I used to smoke and listen to Champagne Supernova and Live Forever. And I was like, oh, it kind of calmed me down.
So the point is,
the
moms
point,
do need to interfere sometimes.
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Permission granted.
The fact that I started to cry, and she just went over to the table and she's like, my daughter thinks you're the Oasis. So I'm like, Mom. And then she handed them, oh my God, I was in a comedy improv show at the time. She handed them pamphlets. And I have a signed pamphlet. It's hold on, do you want to see it?
You have a signed pamphlet?
You know, it's interesting. Betsy met Liam too. Maybe.
Yeah, we go way back.
Who knows?
He's actually the jerk.
Right,
when you really get to know him. When he's not got a lot of sake in front of him,
it's upside. He spelled my name wrong, and it's upside down, but it says to Katharine, love Liam. And
I'll put that in pictures. Excellent.
I mean, yeah.
I like this. How sick is this idea, Betsy? That she lets everybody know she has a free ticket. You have 1 year to work on me.
This is like Squid Game.
I have a couple of friends in line, and we're just talking right now about, because I have to fly out to Edinburgh. I know I have a place to stay because I have friends out there. So we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Do they know that it's like dog eat dog? One of them is not going to.
Yeah. I already have my first person, and they said they're going to Dublin. It's another friend of mine, right? And the second person is like, I'm going to work on it. The third person is like, if the second, I'm not making it weird. It's not a competition.
It feels weird.
It feels weird and a competition, but okay,
yeah,
very good. Either way, you'll have fun, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Liam
By the way,
Gallagher.
you look very nice today.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
That's Liam. Yeah.
All right. So keep this in mind. The podcast. By the way, let me mention this, Betsy. Tell them the name of the podcast again. First of all.
Affordable Interior Design.
How is my background?
Well, you know what? I was going to compliment your camera, first of all, because your pixels are amazing. I'm sure you get that a lot.
I do get that a lot.
Betsy, you should look at his apartment for a hot second and give him some notes.
Well, your background has changed significantly from the last time. I don't know if this Liz has been working her magic. Now, you know my philosophy on floating shelves because you've read my chapters over and over. Floating shelves, you should never have more than 2. I think I see at least 5.
4.
Oh, okay. And you should never have even numbers because according to Fibonacci and the organic sequences, 1, 3, 5 is better visually. So add one more.
According to Feminazi?
Fibonacci, excuse me.
All right.
Fibonacci. Odd numbers are more commonly found in nature. So we feel uncomfortable when you have even numbers, and we're looking for symmetry, and we're not going to find that with your current arrangement. So add one more shelf if you're going to violate my rules. I have my husband's gallery wall behind me, and I made sure to do an odd number in an inorganic arrangement. So we all, if you can see
my background, I followed your rules. I don't know if you noticed. I'm like very careful about the spacing of it.
I can see the height. The height is accurate.
Has a kid ever asked, hey, here's a cool picture of me, can you put this on the wall? And you got to go, no, I don't want the wall to be unnerving.
My kids feel very uncomfortable with the artwork that I put around the house, and they don't want to have friends over because of the artwork I've selected. So that's a hot button issue, Keith. You keep pressing those buttons today.
What's some of the art? Like, is it nudity or what?
It's pictures of my butt.
Right.
From the show, the New York Picture.
And I tell them it's classic, it's timeless, it's beautiful. No, I have just one example of something where my daughter makes me turn it around when she has friends over. I had
it's
an oil.
David, but only the penis.
Just a zoom in. She would want that in her room, like hidden, so she could show her. I don't know. No. We don't want to. As we know, rumor has it she's gay, so I don't think But no, I have an oil painting that I got commissioned on Etsy. When we lived in Brooklyn, our favorite place was Coney Island. It was like a family kind of pilgrimage regularly during the summers. And so I had someone on Etsy from the Ukraine. I commissioned her to make an oil painting of us all in Coney Island doing fun things. So my husband is the ringmaster. My daughter is a mermaid. My son is in a toy train, and it's super cringe. So she won't have friends.
I've seen this, and I will say it's amazing.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say it was cringe.
Speaking of
No, not at all.
you've been
Mm-mm.
on the Cyclone, I assume, right, in Coney Island?
Yeah.
How is this thing legal? First of all, it's up and running again. They just
Is it?
decommissioned it for a
Oh.
minute, but yes, I've been on that thing. You know, wood panels are falling off when you're on it. They go, "You want to ride it again for free?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I just wanted to skydive once over here, Jesus." But anyway,
I started going when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, my best friend moved to Coney Island, right? And I've gone on the Cyclone about 10 times up until I was like 30. Whiplash every freaking time. That thing
Yeah.
is dangerous AF.
yeah, yeah. They go, we test it sometimes if when it feels it needs it. How would you know when it needs it? That it feels right today that we should check it.
Hmm.
This thing is falling apart. It's
All
fucking
wooden
weird.
coasters. I just went to Worlds of Fun for the first time in 35 years in Missouri, and there's the Timberwolf, and all wooden coasters should be banned. And I'm starting that petition right here, right now.
I agree.
And also,
Timber,
like,
indeed.
termites, right? Like, I'm sorry, those exist.
I never thought of that.
It even looks like shit. Every paint's peeling and all this stuff. Anyways, I'm happy for your picture. So check out the podcast. Check out Catherine's show if you're in New York City. I don't know. Maybe go sober the first time. It's up to you. You know your body. Set and setting. And I think that's everything. Katharine, Betsy, thank you so much for your time.
We love you, Keith. Thank you so much for having us.
I am shooting those heart emojis at both of you.
Thank you so
I
much,
had a blast
Betsy.
as always.
I love
It's
you
so good to
too.
see you.
You too.
Yes, thank you guys for having me on. I feel like I was just the third wheel, and I love spinning around with you guys.
I'm into thruples.
You cried. How are you the third wheel?
I want to win another award, Keith.
I knew that's what it was.
Seriously, that was bucket list, and I feel so proud to this day. So please vote and nominate for me. There's no debate, but I am running. I'm in the running.
There's KeithAndTheGirl.com/awards, by the way. Every year we do, you guys nominate your favorite clips, moments, whether sad, happy, this kind of thing. And then we call the winners. So you can hear all the different awards, see them in one easy spot, KeithAndTheGirl.com/awards. It's a lot of fun.
Betsy, you're my hero. Keith, I love you.